Welcome back. Now, Nigeria's National Oil Corporation (NNPC) says there are no immediate plans to increase prices of petroleum motor spirit. This is coming days after fuel marketers and former NNPC management called for the removal of a cap on price levels. Let's talk more about this and other global oil issues with Adim Okwesa, research analyst at Financial Derivatives Company here in Lagos. Good afternoon, Adim.
Good afternoon, Chineme.
Now, NNPC, of course, has come out to deny any plan to increase petrol price. But do you see this happening eventually? Is there any likelihood that we will see an increase in petrol price since you've been following these commodities?
Well, to be honest, I actually see an increase. I actually see that. I actually think it's very possible. Based on the PPRA's template of 285 Naira, and what the Naira is doing now at the IFM at 315 Naira, that's about a 10% difference. So if you add 10% to 145 Naira, we get to 160 Naira. And that's just based on the assumption that all Forex needs are sourced from the IFM market, which is not realistic. We all know that most Forex is sourced from the parallel market. So the parallel market is doing about 425. So if we factor in 50% from the parallel market, 50% from the IFM, then we see a petrol price getting up to as high as 170, 175. So realistically, at the end of the day, these petrol marketers are not profit-making organizations. They need to make profits. So if they are selling a product at a loss, and it is not sustainable, then so the ceiling needs to be, or the policy needs to be reviewed altogether.
So
I actually think price uptick is very realistic at this point.
Right. So you're saying that 145 that we're getting the PMS is not appropriate for now. Now, if the prices, we've seen prices of consumer goods already on the high side. If eventually there's an increase in the price of petrol, how much impact do you think this would have on the consumer goods prices, which is already on the high side?
Well, to have a tumultuous effect. In May, when 145 Naira per litre was introduced, we saw inflation get to as high as... inflation increased from 13.7% in April to about 15.6% in May, which is about 2%. That was the biggest jump we've seen throughout this year. So I see a similar impact having if petrol prices are increased together. So I won't be surprised if we end the year with an inflation rate as high as 22-23%, which is very bad for the country.
Even when we're having consumers resisting these price increases.
Exactly. We're already in a very bad situation. So this will just exacerbate matters.
All right, let's look at the global oil market. OPEC's meeting is scheduled for later this month, and Saudi Arabia and Russia are showing some willingness to cooperate on oil market stability. Is this understanding likely to last?
In my opinion, I think it's all talk, no action. Because if we remember what happened in April, we saw the same thing. We saw all these producers, all these energy officials making comments that they were going to cooperate, that they see an agreement very possible. This went on to the very last minute when Saudi Arabia and Iran had differences and said nothing was going to happen. So at the end of the day, I think the market is cynical, very cynical about any output freeze agreement taking place. So yes, they can talk, but I only see them talk. I only think they're talking to prevent oil prices from going down. At the end of the day, the market wants to see action and not just statements.
So what are your expectations at this meeting? Do you see OPEC members agreeing on an output cut?
Unless an agreement is formulated which can accommodate Iran to increase production, I don't see anything taking place. And I don't see anything happening if Iran is not...
All right. Thank you very much, Adim. That was Adim Okwesa, research analyst of Financial Derivatives here in Lagos. And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimizi Obi Iwagu.